All right, what's up, you guys? Welcome back, everybody. This is Janos with Trading Spies. Today we had another green day, another nice size green day, but our execution wasn't perfect at this time. We traded 6 times. 4 of them was a winner, 2 of them was a loser, and both of the loser was to the short side. The second losing trade, I was up very nicely. I was up about 20%. I took most of the profit, and out of mismanagement, the trade turned around and the overall 20% profit became a closely 10% loser. So this episode is gonna be very valuable for you guys, so make sure you pay attention. So let's get in and let's get started. All right, here we go. Let's start our today recap. The morning and the pre-market, we had a very nice downtrending market, and even before the open, we stayed below VWAP, right? So my initial thinking, the continuation of the breakdown, right? And let me just put this one over here for you guys. So this is the trades for today. 6 trade, 4 of them was a winner, 2 of them a loser, and both loser to the short side. So all that being said, let's see the first entry, 49, which wasn't a perfect entry. The thinking, what I had is basically we break down our level, right? With the big candle, we found our support with the previous day highs, the white levels. If we remember that the last week pivot highs, right? So it was keep valid levels, so that's why I left it on my chart, and as we can see it's proved itself. But my initial thinking, because of the big drop from yesterday close, as we came down, find our support, basically we come back up and find the rejection with my level, and temporarily, exactly that's what happened. We came back on a huge candle on a very little volume. As the second candle after the rejection opened, it was a red candle. I entered, and right away we started to pull higher. I initially holded this trade with the break of the high. That would be my exit. We never closed above it. We wicked above it. We never closed. So basically, as we came back down, I added to my trade as the second candle was rejecting. As the second candle rejected, we continue down. But unfortunately, the contract prices, for whatever reason, wasn't moving a lot. So in this trade, basically, it's only trade management. As we came down, when I got break even for the initial, basically support, because we can take this as a support, right? We had it once, twice, 3 times, and we started to go back up. So as we came down, we hit that level. I exited basically for a break even. As we can see, this trade, a little bit more than 0.25% loss. So this was the first trade, and we can see at this point, even the overall market is down, it's gonna be hard to push lower at this point, right? Even with below VWAP, but we find our support, right? So at this point, I changed my bias basically. This time it was a short bias, now we go to the long. The next entry, we had a trend line as we're coming down. since pre-market, right? This is where we start. We hit it 1 time, 2 time, the morning 3 time, and then we're approaching it again. And these candles, as we were coming up, was on a higher volume, so somewhat was justifying for me. So my initial entry, 1009, very short trade. As we pushed 1009, we broke over the previous day high, the wick. My thinking, we're gonna push over, entered at 9, exited very next candle, very nice trade, 11%. Third trade, we was holding above, right? We pulled back, but was nothing serious. This was the previous day high of the day, right? And we perfectly had that level. So my next entry, because of that, 14, first candle make a new high. That's where I entered. This became a very nice trade again as we pushed higher. Next candle, entered first candle, make a new high, 14, exited 15, again as we pushed higher. That's all we need. This trade, 14%. Very nice, very short. If we enter the right time, very short movement, give us a very nice profit. So I was satisfied with these 2 trade. And this gonna be the mismanaged trade. As we rejected the level, this big red candle was on a high, very high volume. And from initially, as it came down, the candle just engulfed bigger on higher volume. We have a high volume rejection candle. We rejected this high. So as the next candle opened, I would enter. And exactly that's what I did. Entered as it opened red. Unfortunately, didn't look to the left. This was our support zone, right? That's what happened. So this was the first sign. I was just really concentrated on a high volume rejection candle. Let me bring these over here so you guys can see it. On this particular candle, you see 68,250. So we have about a 4 times bigger red candle by volume and size as the previous consolidation candle. So I think this entry was very justifiable entry. And my exit is to the highs, right? The initial push up wasn't on high volume, right? Right away, the next few candles became less and less by volume, half a size. Down here, we became again to the 1/4 of the candle size as the initial drop. So obviously I was holding it because we didn't even get near to my exit. Next candle, high volume, break the previous pivot low, right? What happened? We bought it back on a very low volume candle. So this is sometimes it's very hard to compute. You pushing down on a high volume, and then you're rebuying everything on a very low volume. And as we can see, all the rest of the candles on a low volume. In this case, I was upside down with my trade, but we never get to my exit point yet. So basically what happened, I was holding through all this choppiness to see what's gonna happen, if we're gonna break down or we're gonna break out and then have to give up this trade. As we started to break down, right, I added to my trade at 52, which is the smaller candle. As we started to turn down, again, we can see the push candle, this huge green candle, right? That's the lowest volume at all. So I wasn't really concerned about this push. That's why when we started to game down, I added to my trade. And as we continue the breakdown, the volume was increasing, so that's always a good sign. So as we was coming down, I was selling right here. I was selling, try to sell everything, but I didn't get filled completely. I get filled only 80%. And then we started to push again. As we come back up, volume decreasing. As we pushing down, volume increasing. So that's a good sign. So that 20% I was holding, and at this point, I was really was hopeful this is gonna be a huge push down, and then we can retest either the pivot level or the low of the day. As we come to VWAP, right away we got pushed up. I was saying, okay, I keeping my same exit. Actually, I lowered my exit a little bit to this pivot high, right? So that would put it, later on we can identify it as to here, right? I held my trade, and let's not forget, over here I already locked a little bit over 10% profit of my trade, and as we wick down over here, I calculated I was up about 20%, the overall trade. So as we came up, we never reached my level, and then we started to come back down again. I added to my trade as a continuation of the breakdown. We tapped again, we coming down, we didn't made a new high, continue down, added to my trade, right? So at this point, basically whatever left, whatever added, it was in a break even, a little bit less than break even trade, right? Numbers. But what happened is we started to pull up, and as we broke my level, I exited. But by that time, because all this time passed, let's say my first entry was 10:29, right here we are 11:15, so 3/4 hour passed, basically without any significant price movement to the downside. And as the option contract, if we move against to the direction, it's eroding very quickly. As we broke my level, I exited. So overall, my addition here and the remaining 20% what I held it over here erased all my locked in 10% gain. The 20% unrealized gain became an over 8.5% loser. So this is the instance when you're not trading the chart, you're trading your PNL, right? You're hoping for the big breakdown. You're hoping for the big break. This is gonna give me a nice profit. What I should have done as we broke this level, either here or come back here, just exit, right? And still would be a nice, at least 10%, maybe a little bit less, because again, time passed. This is a valuable lesson for you guys. Money management is a key. Luckily, right? Well, actually, we cannot say that luck. We can say it as stick to the rules. I exited right when it's break my level, because if I keep holding it, just this single candle, the breakout candle, would have put me minus 30%. So in this case, instead of 8.5% loser, this would have been somewhere 25 to 30%. So that would be a very significant loser on this one single breakout candle. That was overall a mismanaged trade. We had to move on. Again, we made our new high, we break out. Again, we have to change our bias, right? We tried. I don't think these try to the short side was a bad idea. I think was a very good idea. It was showing was a profitable trade. It just got mismanaged. Next trade, 11.17, my exit was 16. The breakout, flipped the bias as it came back down, right? It started to create a wick, even it was still a red candle. As we could have seen it, it was a big candle with a big volume. I entered basically on the wick to the long side. My entry basically, we created a new high, we broke my level, we pulled back, we retested the level, and my exit, the break of the previous high. So this overall simple, very nice trade. And this is the trade what you guys have to take, following the direction after the pullback continuation, right? This 11%. And my last trade, which was a very nice juicy trade, entered 11.52, break of my level. Next level is these levels, guys, is, as you can see it, every single level what I have is really interacting with the price action. And this is what you guys have to do. Study the chart, where could be support, resistance levels. It's very valuable. As you can see, it basically is no indicator on my chart. VWAP, and I have a very short whole-term moving average, just to give you an insight of really the very short-term trend. So my entry, as we broke the level, beautiful move, and the exit 12.04. 12.04, I had this through because I already was in a very nice profit. As we came back, support 12.3, 12.4, and I exited right here. But as we went up, this single candle over here, I already, as we moved up, I exited. Let me see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I exited about 15 contracts, because every exit what I have is 3 contracts. So I exited 15 contracts already on the way up. So the remaining 5, so this trade, it was a 20 contract. So the remaining 5, I had it through because it's a very nice profit, was waiting for the bounce, and I exited this trade. So overall, this particular trade, 60%. Beautiful trade, and a beautiful way to finish the day, right? This level was holding very nicely, but again, flat top breakout, right? We have a trend line. Beautiful breakout. And as soon as we break 475, huge rejection. Overall, very nice day. We traded 6 times at this today. 4 of them was a winner, 2 of them was a loser. And we just have to trade the chart, even if it's give us a short opportunity, a longer opportunity. Today, it's in the morning, wasn't like yesterday. At that time, yesterday we have an obvious uptrend. Today, we already was coming down from the yesterday high, so we could have anticipated, not anticipated, but we could have tried short entries for rejections of any of the levels. And basically my level was working perfectly. As we can see it, right? Rejections happening, and it's coming down right now, coming down very nicely. So today is not that simple of an uptrend. Even we above VWAP, we have the uptrend direction, but it's not that simple. Look at this breakdown. Look at this breakdown. Very nice. how far did we go? Right? How far did we go to my previous level? It's just beautiful. Again, if you guys like this video, like the content, and you feel you find value in it, please hit the like, the subscribe button, and see you guys tomorrow.